Meteorologist Serena Arnold, let's get right to the Helene update. Storm's rotating right here and the Gulf. It is working its way north. It is landfall day. It's currently myself and the Stormfront Freaks podcast are going to be doing live coverage of the storm tonight. Go to YouTube, find the Stormfront Freaks podcast. We're going to be doing live coverage of it and as well as switching over to our regularly scheduled show with amazing guest Andrew Markowitz, who is another meteorologist here on TikTok. He's probably the only other one I really recommend that you follow, so please go find him and do. We're going to be talking hurricanes all night tonight, so make sure you find the Stormfront Freaks podcast on YouTube and sign up so you can be notified when we go live. We're covering the storm all night. Here are evacuation orders. So here's the scale. Take a look at what's going on and find the county that you're in and match that. I show this because meteorologists in the Tallahassee area are calling this an unsurvivable storm surge. Catastrophic and unsurvivable storm surge for Appalachia Bay. This is not an F around and find out event. If you are within that bay, please go. Obviously, we have major concerns with a Category 3 forecast storm making landfall today. We'll go over that full area, but don't forget the second big story is all the rain that's going to be happening in southern Appalachia, the types of flooding, mudslides, and stuff that's going to be happening in the mountainous areas. This storm is going to wreak havoc. This evacuation map is from Craig Cece, a PhD meteorologist, totally worth following on Twitter. Here's the intensity forecast. It's sitting at Cat 2 right now. Forecast model's expecting it to top out at Cat 3. I think that's very easily attainable. And you can see it drastically drops off as soon as the storm goes over land. Here's the map everybody needs to see. Everywhere in the red is where there's going to be hurricane conditions. That includes that gigantic southwestern corridor of Georgia. Everywhere that's in the blue is going to be seeing tropical storm conditions. Remember, tropical storm conditions are winds of 39 miles an hour or greater sustained. That's not including gusts. And the red is hurricane force, which is 74 miles per hour or greater. This little white line is just where we're forecasting the path of the eye to be. This storm is wider than Florida. So you are going to be feeling impacts for a much larger area than where this little white cone is, which is why it's so important that you look at these blue and red colors. Now, I know evacuation orders are happening as far away as Tampa, Florida, and you just have to understand it's basically a really bad combination of the path of the storm, the size of the storm, and the geography of Florida. Everywhere in the purples, oranges, and reds are places you are absolutely going to see some serious wind speed. And that's because the storm is moving right here into this area, probably going right in here just south of Tallahassee. It rotates counterclockwise, and it is a very, very large storm. When I say a big storm, most hurricanes average about 300 miles across. And so the areas of impacted winds are usually generally small. This storm has hurricane force winds 60 miles from the center and tropical storm force winds 345 miles away. That 345 miles is a radius, by the way. It's not the diameter of the circle, it's a radius. So here's the eye, 345 miles that way and 345 miles that way. Yes, we are talking almost 700 miles wide of tropical storm force winds, 39 miles per hour or greater. For comparison, Florida is about 380 miles long. This helps show the magnitude of the storm. This is an outline of all areas that can expect tropical storm force winds and showing the timing of it. So here this morning, and if you're south of this line, you should have already felt it. You're going to get it up to here this morning, and that's where they're going to be tonight. Here's the rainfall. Obviously is going to be a serious problem wherever landfall is and the closer to the center of that eye wall you are. But remember, the second major story that is almost as equally as important is this rain that you're going to be seeing in the mountains that's going to cause substantial flooding and mudslides. Also, as the storm makes landfall, anywhere east of the path of the eye, so you can see the path of the eye is going to be here. East of there, we're definitely expecting some severe thunderstorms. And these severe thunderstorms are going to have embedded tornadoes in them. This is really common for a system that is this dynamic. Remember the difference between a watch and a warning with these tornadoes today. Watch means it may happen. Watches are going to be issued this morning, probably, some this afternoon. If you get put under a warning, it means it is happening. Now, actual landfall of the storm is when the eye touches the land finally, but we all know that there's going to be a lot of impacts that happen outside of that. That is forecast to happen late tonight or possibly during the very earliest morning hours of Friday morning, once again, right around that Apalachicola area. The last thing I'll leave you with here in this morning's update is this peak storm surge forecast. Once again, between this Apalachicola area and through the Big Bend, 15 to 20 feet of storm surge. Now, the elevation here is incredibly low. If you are coastal, if you are within a couple miles of the coast in this area, you need to evacuate. This is a no shenanigans type of situation. The storm surge drops off quickly here on the west side as this rotates counterclockwise. And so it pushes more storm surge on than it does over here. Actually, over here, you're going to see a couple of these bays empty out probably. And once again, because of the geography combined with the size of the storm and the rotation, The storm surge goes all the way down here, all the way to the tip of Florida, all the way down to Flamingo and through the Florida Keys because of where it's going to be. Now, obviously, you see it drop off substantially, but even in like Tampa Bay and places like that, we're still looking at up to 9 feet of storm surge. So the storm surge is definitely going to be a concern. Keep in mind that actually doesn't include waves. That's just kind of like the base average height. So not a good story at all. Talking about the stretch with the hurricane force winds are going to extend. It's going to be pretty far. Tropical storm force winds are going to go pretty far as well. But then really thinking about that flood. If you're in that area where we have that really high flood concern, you still have today to get yourself ready and prepared. You'll notice the rain starting, but the worst of it isn't going to be coming until that storm makes landfall, pushes its way further north tomorrow. So today's your last day if you are in the mountains to prepare. Stormfront Freaks podcast will be live tonight on YouTube. Please subscribe, do whatever you need to now so you're notified, and we'll keep you in like the loop of everything that's going on.